Is happening, everybody? Welcome to the second episode of Taking Root with Bice Family Tree. Today, we are talking all about markets, going to market, what you want to sell, how to sell, all the ins and outs. And if there's anything we miss, please, at the end, we will be doing a question and answer session from the chat. But I thank everybody for being here. It's going to be a fun show. We have two really awesome guests co hosting with me tonight. First off, as I always do, doing a voice check, making sure, can everybody hear me? Is everything good? I was working good a while ago and it was skipping out a little bit on me here about 10, 15 minutes ago, disconnecting. So I rebooted my computer and we should be good. So, all right, who have we got in the house tonight? We've got Mr. Norm Hughes. We've got Not Your Average Woodworks. That's old Mr. Daddy John John. We've got Joseph Emmons. We've got, wow, it's not letting me scroll up. There we go. We've got Vanna. Hey, Vanna. We got Cameron. We've got DJ. We've got Blake, but he's here kind of twice. So there's that. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guests. The layout that we're going to have is just talking about um, markets and going through our experiences and stuff like that. And then at the end, we're going to do questions from the chat. So if you have any questions, just try to hang on to them until then. Don't forget them. If you feel like you really need to ask right then, that's fine. I'll try to keep an eye on the chat and address things as they come across. But normally for these episodes, well, we've only done one, but the last one, man, the chat was going so fast, it was hard to keep up. So first, I would like to introduce one of my very first connections here in YouTube, and he's another fan favorite of the group. He has really grown a lot here in the last few months. He's really gotten into lathe turning, but what a lot of people may not know is he's also very well versed in the realm of markets. So first, I want to introduce Mr. Jim Lane from Soldier Farms. Mr. Jim, how are
Hey,
you,
you
sir?
all. Hey, doing great, Zach. Notice John is here, and Norm, and old Fearless, and Vanna is standing in for Van, I guess.
Van's probably lurking from his
He
from his
probably
room.
is. He's probably ornery. They'd be glad to put him out of the hospital.
That's right.
Good for him.
Oh, so we were talking a little bit earlier. Of course, today's topic is about markets and stuff like that, and you just had a market today.
Today, this morning, we left the house at 7 o'clock and arrived at our market site about 12 minutes later. We pull right up, and today was like our best market day ever. So
Really?
it was very exciting. We thought we were going to get rained on this morning, and it piddled around for hour and a half, and then it cleared up, and it was a nice day. And like then the market never emptied, and it was steady like all the way through.
That's nice. That's
Yes,
sign
it
of a
was
good
a
day.
very good market day. And our neighbors on both sides at the market, Honest Living Farm and Highland Hills Apiary, both like they had great days too. And I told them we were going to be on. I don't know if they're watching or not because like not very many people that I know that I do YouTube.
Right.
A couple of them run across me and you know, hey, you're that guy.
I
Nope,
know that
he's
guy.
somebody else, somebody better looking.
Oh man. Well, I want to thank you for being here, but here I'm going to bring on our second co-host, and he is also extremely well versed in the realm of markets, and it's pretty much what he does.
I
And
like him. Don't tell him he's a good guy.
okay, I won't juice him up anymore.
All right.
But anyway, I would like to welcome Mr. Rob Blake from Blake Family Creations. What's up, Rob?
Hey guys, how are y'all doing?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be you.
I'm
Except for
I'm
all those
wondering
storms
that
you got going
filter
on.
if he's just part of the matrix.
Well, and just for everybody's information here, Rob, he may be tapped out already. He's got a lot of storms and stuff going on right now. So if he gets clocked out or kicked out or frozen up, that's why. He's not bailing on us. So and there we got Moyoc. We got and Moyoc don't know the news yet, but he gonna learn today. Um, let's see who else we got in here. I'm still scrolling back up at the chat. We got a whole bunch. And yeah, it looks like we already lost Rob.
Oh,
I'm
hey
gonna
Richard, Cameron.
Rob, if you can hear me, just shoot me a text. Let me know if you reconnect. I'm gonna pop you back in the lobby, bro. Yeah, you froze, my man. You froze up like a popsicle. So I will. I'll pop you back in there once I see you come back in. But figured we'll go ahead and get started here. Talking
Absolutely.
about just quick, rundown of how to decide whether or not you want to take your products to market. Now, it doesn't matter really what you're selling. There's a lot of farmers markets out there, um, craft markets, all different kinds of festivals. They're everywhere. And so if you decide you want to take your items to market, I think one of the first things you need to do is check with your local and state level officials, make sure that you're legal. Um, because some municipalities require business license for anything. Some states require sales tax IDs and submitting sales tax. My state, for instance, Tennessee, doesn't require us to um, report the sales tax unless we meet a certain income threshold. We're also not required in my municipality to get a business license unless our business meets a certain income threshold. So I'm not there yet. I don't have to do any of that yet. It's a good problem to have, but that's the very first step you need to make sure is you're following all the rules and regulations for your local and state levels. What's it like up there where you're at? Do you have to have
Here
all?
in Ohio, some counties have their own rules, and they're a little more specialized. Here in Clark County, uh, they want you to have a vendor's license. Ours is actually a state level vendor license because we have in mind that eventually we'll be traveling outside Clark County to go to shows and things. And
Mm-hmm.
so we have that. I am incorporated as a single member LLC for my business, just to structure our liability and things like that. And then, um, so subs- as a substitute teacher, they don't collect Social Security, but
Mm-hmm.
all of the business stuff, we file and we pay into Social Security so that I'll have that benefit because I wasn't always a substitute teacher, and so I'll qualify for some of that, so I can still pay all my filings, and then we try to pay my income tax and all that stuff quarterly so that we don't get that big surprise at the end of the year.
Right.
Because the minute I feel comfortable with that and everything appears to be going well, then you always get that envelope that brings you back to reality. And so we're
It
trying
brings you
not to
back
do
real
that.
quick too.
It does. It will put the
Oh
brakes on a
man.
good day.
Yes, it will. I've gotten those envelopes a few times, and it puts a damper on the whole day. But yeah, so that's the first thing I advise. If you're wanting to do markets and stuff, make sure that your state and local um, rules and regulations are followed. Because I mean, a lot of these big markets, the ones that do a lot of business and sell, regularly, sometimes state officials go through these places and check.
Oh,
So
one time many years ago, um, I had a booth at flea market uh, south of another town here, and it was an indoor market, and I had of course had my vendor's license, but they would go through, um, particularly the outside market. Uh, Out of the swap meet, they would go through there and they would nail people left and right. Most of the vendors that were inside already knew. And so,
hmm
we always had our license like in a little frame right there. And, from time to time, they would send out a new copy and it would have a different date on it. And they always want you to have it, the most
right.
current license up.
Well, Rob, we got you back, but I've got no video.
Yeah, it's not doing video on mine. If you want, I can just go voice, old school.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll just do that.
It's saying
Maybe.
that I don't. For some reason, the camera green light is on, but it's showing no camera at the bottom, down in the app.
Tap that camera again.
Okay.
There you
Well, there
There
I
you
am.
go. Adjust the rabbit ears. Tighten up the
Yeah,
flow.
right.
So, Rob, we were just talking about like the very first step that I recommend for markets is making sure when you decide it's something you might want to do, check with your local and state level rules and regulations. Your municipalities, your city hall. Make sure that you're legal because there's a lot of different rules for different states and different cities. And I was explaining to everybody like my city doesn't require a business license until we meet a certain income threshold, and my state doesn't
Right.
require um, submitting sales tax information or anything until we meet a certain threshold too. So, I mean, is there anything there like that you have to deal with there in Texas?
Yes, it's just it's kind of like yours, Zach. It's just and really it's weird. It's from market to market too on whether they if they come through and check you and everything. But a lot of the markets don't require you to have a business
Mhm.
license. A lot of them require you to have a lot of insurance, but not a business license.
Yeah, and insurance is something I'm going to talk about too. Let's see, state tax, business license, liability insurance. That was my next thing. So
Yeah.
it's a good segue into that. So most vendors or most market uh, uh, business owners, the property owners, most of the people doing the markets, they require you to either have your own liability insurance or purchase theirs. And by purchasing theirs is that they basically
Right.
charge you a small fee for them to list you on their liability insurance, and you can use theirs if something happens. Now, you might ask,
Right.
okay, what do I need insurance for? Well, what you need insurance for is if a customer comes through your booth and trips over one of your items or your tent leg and breaks their arm, or it gets cut on one of the items of yours, and or glass breaks, or something that has to do with any of your personal items, any of your equipment there that might cause injury, that's what it's for. So instead of them coming directly after you and suing you, you've got your liability insurance. So I got my liability insurance through the same company that I do my homeowner's insurance, my auto insurance, everything. State Farm is who I got. And the cool thing about the liability insurance is a lot of the things that are inside my shop, all my tools, all my products, all that stuff, even though it's in my garage, it's not covered under my homeowner's insurance if it
No.
gets damaged, fire, loss, theft, any of that. But my liability insurance covers it, every bit of it.
As a former State
Yep.
Farm employee, I would like to congratulate you on your personal liability umbrella policy.
Yeah, I've been with them since I was 19. It's been over 25 years or 23 years. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I
that's
forgot you're a youngin.
yeah, just a little bit. But
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same too, and you got to be careful from market to market on how much they make you
Yep.
carry
yeah,
too.
most of them down here, they like you to have $1 million of coverage. I think my plan is two
Yeah,
million, and it only costs me $40 a month. Uh, but for
yeah,
it to
it's
also
not
cover
much.
my shop and all my tools and inventory and stuff too, it's well worth it just to have it for that. But
Y-
have y'all run into any incidents where you've had to actually use it?
No.
No.
Knock on
Um,
wood.
Okay. That's a
yeah,
good thing.
absolutely. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
I've
So if
I have talked to a good friend and mentor of mine. He doesn't do woodworking, but he does markets. He the first two markets he went to, they had a windstorm go in there, had his tent uh secured down like he was supposed to, but others didn't, and their tents went and flew and hit cars in the parking lot, and it was just a mess. And that that's one of the reasons why a lot of these markets are making you carry insurance because you never know what's going to happen.
that's
Right.
right. The last thing you want to do is be held personally liable, and you get
Absolutely.
completely
Ugh,
so if y'all are thinking about doing markets and stuff, by all means, please, even if the market doesn't require liability insurance, I highly recommend getting it anyway. Most of your homeowners, even renters insurance places, and most of your insurance providers have a policy out there for it. Like I said, it's relatively inexpensive. I mean, if it costs me $35, $40 a month,
You
and
definitely want to see if you can attach it to an existing policy that you have. You don't want to buy event insurance
yes,
because we looked into that, and
right.
for a 1 day, 6 hour event, it was going to be about $400. And
Yeah.
that's, I mean, for the business I do, that it wouldn't even be worth packing the car.
yeah.
So, that's just, my 2 cents.
So, Dan,
I agree with Jim on that. That's a lot of money to have to overcome before you start making money.
is anybody else hearing static? I'm not hearing
And
static, man.
Every now and then it does, but it pops right back out.
my
Not
wife does, but
it's not
ordinarily
bad.
it's just my voice.
I'm just wondering if we didn't hear the static on the last live stream. I just wondering where it might be coming from. I don't know, but because I even brought my router
Fluctuation in
from
bandwidth
downstairs and
can
it's right
cause
here.
that.
The what now?
A fluctuation in bandwidth can cause that.
Yeah. All right. So the next thing we'll talk about is all right. So you've already figured out, you know, you're good on sales tax for the state. You're good on your business license. Everything's legal. Everything's above board. You got your liability insurance. So the next thing you want to do is, I would say, set up a catalog of items that you wish to sell. And that can be if you do crochet, if you do wood turning, basic woodwork, glass blowing, metal work, anything. Make a list, a catalog list of the items that you want to sell. Keep it organized, and not necessarily a catalog people can look through. That is helpful, and that's something else I'm going to talk about. But make a list of the items you want to sell and prepare your stock. Now, your stock's going to be based off of uh, where the market's at. how many customers you plan on seeing come through there, and all these are going to be questions that you're going to want to ask the coordinator of the market that you set up with. Um, Now, setting your prices, if you don't know how to price an item, there are different ways to kind of get a good gauge. You can search items online that are similar to yours, go through Etsy, which those are going to be marked up a little bit to offset shipping and fees for the seller. But do some shopping around if for like items. You can do what I do: ask friends that do the same kind of work and see what they charge for the items. Um, Put a post out on Facebook or on YouTube asking, "Hey, I made this. What do you think I could sell this for?" And just get a good general consensus from people, because people are going to tell you what they would sell it for, what they would buy it for.
Absolutely. This is where you want to have at least one good friend who's kind of doing the same thing as you, someone who you will trust what they're telling you. Um, like, there are different ways to price. Do cost of material multiples, so three or four times cost of materials, depending on the labor you have in. I hear some people doing that. The way I started, and sorry to like hijack your whole life, but
No, you're good.
uh,
That's what I got you here
the way
for.
I started, like we were sitting here over multiple nights and we were watching YouTube woodworkers. And one night we were watching Bearded Viking, and he was talking about getting into markets. And so I looked at my wife and said, I wonder if we could do that. And she's always a willing accomplice to my harebrained schemes. So I didn't
So is
have
mine.
a lot of tools. I had built a chicken coop, so I had a miter saw, I had a 50-year-old circular saw, and stuff like that. So getting processing a lot of big material was out of the question. So I ordered a box of cutting board stick wood chips, and made four cutting boards out of that, and I priced each board at the same cost as a box of sticks. And I sold all of those. And I bought another box of sticks and all of those. And wash, rinse, repeat until I had enough money to buy myself a joiner. So I bought an 8-inch Win joiner with a spiral cutting head. So
Hmm.
for a long time, the widest cutting board I could do was 8 inches. So you do 8 by 12s. And that was just going along. And that's how we bought the other equipment was. And then once I got the table saw, then I am buying more boxed pre-cut sticks. I went and bought lumber and started milling my own stuff. Cutting boards have gotten better over time, but when you can get a box of S4S cutting board sticks for $26, you can sell
Hmm.
all your cutting boards for $30, and there's four or five boards in there. You don't really have any trouble as long as you can write a marketplace ad. So I sold all of the first ones on Facebook.
There you go.
That's how I got into it. And if I hadn't been able to make that fly, I was only going to be out $26. So, because I wouldn't have kept going if I hadn't made it fly.
So, so,
E-
Rob, what do you do
Exactly.
with,
Yeah.
first of all, let's ask, what exactly is your history with, because we didn't get a chance to talk with you about that. Your history with, product making
Right.
and selling in markets.
Well, my wife's to blame for me getting into this market stuff. I love making stuff and became a amateur woodworker, and she got into doing a side hustle during COVID of doing cookies, and COVID shut that down. She did really well with that. So we were like, well, what do you want to do next? So she started doing door hangers and wreaths and all these things, and had me making wood accessories to go with her stuff. So I started making woodworking stuff, and then I started making some of my own, and doing the basically the fall festivals is where we got started. So I made a lot of Christmas items and different things like that. And then like a lot of us, we started watching BV and Van and go, wow, maybe I could do
Yeah.
this. So we got into it that way and kind of took off from there. And half of our booth is her door hangers and wreaths, and the other half is my woodworking stuff. And then we hope to get into cutting our own someday with a laser. We're not there yet, but that's where we're headed with it. So the blanks that she paints and she does for the markets are not that expensive, but in the grand scheme of things, if we did them ourselves, we would be making that much more money in the end. So that's where we're at with it. And we kind of took it from there. Be honest, we make most of our market money during the fall, right up until the first week of December. Really,
Hmm.
um, the summer markets are so hard here because it's so hot.
Yep.
And uh, it says I lost connection. Can y'all still see me?
Yep.
Yep.
Are you
Not
froze
anymore.
again?
He popsicled up on us.
Mm.
But yeah, he's uh hopefully he'll pop back.
That's how our first market came about. We're, I had sold these cutting boards online, and I work in schools, and so I had sold a couple things to other teachers.
Hmm.
And Paula says, "Why don't we try a market?" So you first of all, you got to figure out how to talk to the showrunner, who's doing what, and how can you get in on it. Our first market was an absolute disaster, and we have not done another go to craft show, just like 2-day event. We've not done any more of those. We Farmers market runs 17 weeks. We did a Christmas market that was aside from that last year, and it was just like 1 day, 3 hours, and we did really well. And then we took the rest of the stuff and divided it that day from two retail opportunities that kind of fell in our lap. One
Hmm.
was kind of an indoor, like she was renting booth space essentially, like it was an unmanned kiosk, and then that kind of thing. A little like a what was the place called? Was Hometown Bargains. And
Hmm.
so they like half the place was like closeouts, and the other half of the place was like these little market booths. So we did that, and then uh, a local farm stand. We know the farmer, and we get a lot of produce out there, and he let us play some stuff for Christmas, and that turned out to work very well.
Yeah, that's the kind of opportunities that like to take advantage of with with those types of markets because they're already pretty established.
Yep. And like in the case of the farm market, um, there was no market fee. It's like, we just agreed on a percentage, and it went
Hmm.
well. And this year and last year both, we're in like week 3, and we've made back our market fee already. So from here on
Nice.
out, it's material cost and gravy.
So yeah, pricing your items. Another tip for pricing. Now, I like to use Bearded Vikings method because it just makes it easy. Like because mine's woodworking, and I like to take my material cost and multiply it times four, and
Hmm.
that's how he basically sets it to account for the time and everything. Now, if it's an item that takes a lot of time, then you might want to add a little bit more to it, or if it
Right.
doesn't take very long, take some away. But I mean, it's a pretty good template on pricing your item to get a good idea because you always want to take into account with the materials. Like, this mallet that I made that Bearded Viking won tonight. Um, if I'd made it out of just regular hardwoods, domestic hardwoods, it wouldn't be nearly as expensive as, say, like, the exotics. But
Right.
um, so for the pricing, yeah, and I've also found it's better to price high and bring it down than price low and realize it's
Yep.
low, have to try to bring it back
Because
up.
you get that reputation as being the person who undersells. And then when
Yes,
you do raise your prices,
Yeah.
then buyers flee.
they do. So if y'all are pricing your
You don't
item,
want to be that guy.
care about pricing high because you can always bring them down. It's a lot easier to bring them down than it is to pull them back up because
Yep.
people remember. But my history with markets started, I think I was 14. My stepdad was a manufacturer's rep for a lot of different companies, SIG, SOG knives, Rapala. I mean, you name it, all kinds of fishing and outdoor stuff. So I would help with trade shows that he was going and presenting items to stores. Like it looked like a regular market, but we're presenting to store owners, store managers, buyers for them to stock these items in their stores. So you're not doing like direct customer selling, but yet you kind of are because they're making orders and stuff to put that stuff on their shelves. So I helped him with those shows probably two or three a year for probably 10 years. And then I'd do some here and there. Did the Orgill show down in New Orleans, which I think that's a 3 million square foot building full of all kinds of vendors and products. And yeah, I did that show with Pelican and Sog Knives a few times. So I've got a lot of experience with setting up the booth, setting up the way you want the booth to flow and all the product placement and stuff like that and interacting with customers. So that's my background with markets. I didn't actually start going to markets selling my own stuff until October of last year. Um, but like I said, a lot of that came pretty easy because I had so much experience with doing markets already. Also, if you're not adding state sales tax, if you don't have state sales tax, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're not adding the sales tax to the final amount, make sure you're including it in the price because if you're having to pay the sales tax, you
Yep.
need the customer to pay it, not you. Um, so finding a market, shopping for the right market to attend. Not all markets are equal.
No, they are not.
No.
Jim, tell me an experience with your best market, which I know today was one of your best,
Today was our red letter day.
and then uh, actually, I'm going to go with Rob first because he might cut out again.
Right. Right.
Rob, tell me
Yeah.
your worst experience of a market and why it was a bad experience. Tell me your best.
The worst one was one that was so hyped. You're going to have thousands of people come in for this 6, 8 hour show. You get there and there's four woodworkers there, same product that I was selling, and they barely had 100 people. I mean, all day long. And I'm not going to say where it was, but it was such a hyped show that I was like, this is a no brainer. And I don't know how much shows are in your area, but it was only $40. I was like, let's jump on this. But
Right.
that was the worst. Um, and then the best one we did was last year. And we'll continue to do. You have the one show that you say, I'm coming back every year for this, and this one is actually funded by a city, and it's called Holiday in the Park,
Mm.
and it's a 3-day show. It was actually our first show we ever did, which you talk about stepping off both feet into a fire. We It was a 3-day show, and there was, and I think they said there was between 15 and 20,000
Wait,
people there
put
that
on our
over
list
the
to
three
find out about
days.
Holiday in the City.
And we did so well. It was kind of the benchmark for the rest of the shows. So sometimes these 1-day shows don't compare, but uh, we did really well, and we love it. They have parades for the kids. They had a dog parade. They had all kinds of things that they did. They promoted it for you. And they did a lot of the marketing on your behalf. And I actually met my show mentor there. He does 3D printing of toys, and he just makes a killing at these shows. And that's how I found out about other shows. You definitely want to be friends with other vendors while you're there.
Yes, because they can
Uh,
refer you
am
to
I the
their
only one
best.
that's not froze?
Nope, you must have froze again.
We had just recently, to springboard off of your point about making friends with other vendors.
Mhm.
Yesterday, when I was in the middle of my wild day, uh, I get this. Uh, I'm driving back to the house with my daughter from her doctor's appointment, and the phone rings, and like there's this name attached to it. It's ringing in on my Google number, and I'm thinking, who is calling me? And it's like, I know I'd seen the name, couldn't recollect where I'd seen it. And it's
Mhm.
our friend from the farmer's market. They have an apiary, and he had recommended our business to a lady who runs a little herb shop in another town, like an apothecary.
Mhm.
And because she gets honey from him. Well, he said you ought to call Jim and get honey dippers. So he was telling me about that and said she's expecting your call. And so I got in and I made the call. And of course, I didn't get her because, like anybody who answers the phone on the first ring and you're a business, you're not busy enough.
Nope.
So, uh, and then she caught me when I was in the middle of something else. And so, I felt like I rushed her off the phone, but we it was just the facts, ma'am. This is what I do. I make a variety of different things. It would be more convenient for me to send you pictures and some video instead of telling you about it. That way, if you like this stuff, we can set something up. And she was like, "Yep, that's great." And there again, we were talking. She's a teacher, and she does this is like summer business for her. And then
Mhm.
one of her kids runs it, the rest of the year while she's teaching. And so I sent her pictures, and she was just excited. So we're going to get together next week, but in the next few days, I got to throw some stuff together because if she wants a lot of stuff, then what am I taking to market next week?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's one thing you really want to make sure of when you go to the market. Make sure you got enough stock because what's the point of being there if you're not selling it?
Oh,
Um,
we had
so
a
yeah,
few days last year where it was like, man, are we going to run out?
right. and it's not a bad thing to sell out if you've
No,
got a lot of inventory. So that's a good problem to have. Um,
I was going home at night and making stuff and bringing it back to the market the next day on some stuff.
hmm Yep, I've done that. So yeah, not all markets are equal. Make sure you shop around. A good place for y'all to really shop around for markets is, ironically, it's Facebook.
yep,
Facebook does
Mhm.
a really good job of promoting farmers markets, flea markets, all kinds of stuff like that. There's a lot of municipalities, your city, uh, city hall. They like to do a lot of things like that and promote things like that on their social media pages. Network, talk to other
just
vendors, ask them what their best
get
markets are,
on
what they recommend.
Facebook and search vendor markets near me,
Yep.
or craft fairs
Yeah.
near me. And like, we knew that there was a farmers market downtown, but
hmm
in the old days, applying for the market was like you had to go downtown, you had to get the application, you had to bring it home, you had to go through all that mess. Now it's just electronic, and you know,
Yep.
we just we handled it and it went well. My wife fills out all that stuff because I don't have patience.
hmm
Me either.
when y'all and this is for, for the chat, when y'all go and approach these vendor coordinator or these market coordinators, ask them questions, ask a bunch of questions. And here's some questions you might want to ask. What's of course, the first thing you want to know is what's the fee for the booth space. And your booth space are usually feed at 10 by 10, 10 foot by 10 foot sections, or 10 foot by 20 foot sections. So get the booth fee. um, Ask them how many customers do they see on average through their market. What's their foot traffic like? Ask them how many other vendors sell products like yours. How many other vendors have are in the same category as you, and also do
Yeah, for
those
sure.
do those coordinators space out those vendors to where they're not all just right there next to each other. So like the market I do every month, the coordinator, she owns the property. It's on a farm, and she has anywhere between 150 and 175 vendors per show, per market. And she always tries to coordinate it to where different vendors are not, I mean, like vendors are not right next to each other. So if there's me, a woodworking booth, she's going to make darn sure I'm not sitting next to or within 3 or 4 tenths of another woodworking booth. So make sure that that coordinator is cognizant of that and knows about it. That'll be a huge help because, and then ask them how do they promote the market? Because here's the deal: they want you to be successful. These market coordinators, it is in their best interest for you to sell as much as possible because they want you to come back. So ask them flat out, how do you promote the market? What all avenues do you take to promote this? Because if they're not in it, you're probably not going to do well.
Can I interject one moment?
Absolutely.
Um, at our market, uh, the young couple that are the market coordinator and the uh, kind of the, I wouldn't call him a maintenance guy, but he is definitely like he handles all of that sort of stuff. He puts out the electric cords and does the traffic barrier, all that stuff. She sends out like before ever it's market season, probably by the end of the first quarter, um, the third week of March or so, she sends out packets and wants to know if you're going to be a returning vendor, and then if you are, you get preferential uh, for what spot you want. And we came back to our same spot because we really liked it.
And often, if you pay for the whole year, they'll offer you prime spots too.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And we just decided that we would rather do 17 weeks in a row in the summer when I'm off than try to hunt up, 17 different craft shows and have to travel and potentially stay overnight and do all that stuff. And then we're going to try and pick up, I would like to have five retail opportunities, which is kind of a big goal for a shop my size, because there's a lot of production work into maintaining that much inventory. But
Yeah.
like, if you don't have high goals, then you don't achieve things. You got to have
Right.
something to go after. So even if I never get there and I only get three, then hey, I got three. I'm happy with that, but I'm not going
Right.
to quit trying. Um, but just like our market, she sends out stuff early, and then periodically, and then when the market schedule comes out, they've got like you know um, a market day where it's geared more toward the vendors. They have there's always music every week, and we've been blessed so far. It's not been ridiculous headache tunes. It's been, kind of folksy stuff, light rock, easy to listen to. Uh, but she's sending out, here, put this on your social media, share this on your vendor page, whatever. And then if they have your link, then they publish like a vendor spotlight like every week, and they
Hmm.
direct people to your market page, or like if you have an online shop or whatever. And
Yeah. See,
they
that's a prime market coordinator right
Yeah.
there. That's
oh
that's
yeah,
one that
she's good.
we want to keep using. Rob, have you ever had a market coordinator you do all that kind of stuff too?
Yeah, the one about Holiday in the Park, we actually met a coordinator, and she actually will promote, like Jim said, and but she goes around, even though she has a booth there selling her own stuff, she
Hmm.
goes around every market that she does and does a live, and she will stop at your booth and do spotlight, like hey, this is Blake Family Creations, and look at all this great stuff that they have. And and then but the one Holiday in the Park, they start promoting it on the city webpage, and that's, I mean, it's already a big event, but you're also getting free advertising there as well.
Right.
Definitely become friends with market coordinators, and those coordinators talk to each other.
Yes, they
So
do.
you might want to be careful what you say. I mean, you don't want to make enemies of any of them, because they
Nope.
talk and they can blackball you in a heartbeat if you're not careful.
Yeah, and you don't want to get blacklisted from all these
No.
other markets and stuff because
Nope.
yeah, and they do talk, and it's because it's in their best interest to have you sell as much as possible. And
Right.
and so one thing I'm going to talk about a little bit too in a moment is the etiquette of being at these markets.
Yeah.
Um, but next, I'm going to go into obtaining all the items that you'll need for market. Of course, we talked about
Ooh,
liability insurance.
that's a big
Uh,
one.
First thing, another that you'll want to do at least a couple weeks in advance is order business cards. Business
Yes.
cards are a must. You need them. You have to have them, and get decent ones. Like order them from Vista Print
Hmm.
or whatever. I started out with the ones you print yourself, and you could still see the perforated edges and stuff. It's
Yeah.
not very professional, but I was short on time and didn't really have, I didn't know if I was really going to move forward with it or not. But um, make sure you include your phone number, email, even QR codes for your stores, your
Hmm.
online stores, your Facebook, your Etsy, your YouTube, whatever. Um, yeah,
On your board conditioner or other consumables, put your QR code so they can reorder.
yes,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Another thing before market, make sure you set up some online point of sale. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. Make sure you set them up for business because I'd say a good 50%, maybe 60% of people like to pay with card and not with cash. So make
Yeah.
sure that you have a way and that you've tested it to make sure it works on accepting card. Now, there's a bunch of different options. I use my cell phone with Venmo, with the pay with card option, or tap with card or whatever it's called, because it can read QR codes, or not QR codes. It can read the RF chip from the card. So make sure you
Hmm.
set up that. And speaking of cash, make sure you have a secure cash box. You want to have at least, I like to carry $200 cash myself. I like to have 50 in ones, 50 in fives, and another 100 in tens.
Yeah.
Most people are going to pay with a $20 bill
Yeah.
or multiples. And of course, you're going to
Yeah.
need your hardware. You're going to need your tents, your canopy, your folding tables. And the best folding tables I've used are the kind that fold in half and have a handle that comes out of it. Uh,
Hmm.
they're 50, $60 a piece, for a 6 foot table. Comfortable chairs because you're going to be sitting there a while. Tablecloths. I
For sure.
I get the spandex type of tablecloths that come down and wrap around the legs. They're relatively inexpensive on Amazon. Um, Banners, flags, or signs with your company logo, company sign. You're going to want to display who you are so they know,
Hmm.
you know, where I want to go shop. Um, you're going to need bags. You can order, like a varied, set of different size bags and stuff, paper bags or even plastic bags from Amazon for putting merchandise in that's sold. Um, Displays, proper display stands and racks for your products. You can make them if you're a woodworker. If you're not, you can buy some cheap plastic stands on Amazon.
Check Uline for the price on the bags because sometimes they are way cheaper than Amazon.
Yeah.
Also,
Uline is a good resource.
everybody has a lunch cooler stuck somewhere. It's probably in the garage with, an empty Mountain Dew box that's got car rags stuffed in it. Grab that cooler, pack your own drinks, pack your own
Yep.
snacks
Yep.
because last year's market, we got in the habit. We would set up, and then we would hit the little cafe and we would have a breakfast sandwich. And my wife calls it getting a foo foo coffee. And like, you turn around and you spent $40 and you haven't made any yet. And
Yep.
Right.
so you have to be wary of that, and you be the guy that sells to the other vendors and don't go and you know spend the money before you make it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have to tell my wife that all the time. Like, we're here to sell, not buy.
Now,
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure you have proper crates, totes, and storage for all your products.
you do,
Display
and
stands,
have a
racks.
system.
Yes, and have
Yeah.
a system, an unload and load system, because it will help you out a lot. And
And
my
tarps too.
last item,
Yep,
yes. So Jim already covered my last item. Make sure you have a cooler with drinks, food, all that stuff, because and items to weather the elements outdoors, like
Yep.
sunscreen. My wife's a redhead. She needs that sunscreen, or she's like a fork in a microwave. I'm telling you. So, Vinny says can't remember Jim's place, not home to check. So Vinny's asking how far he is from you, Jim. Jim, he wants to come visit you.
I'm in Springfield, Ohio, which I think it's about 3.5 to 4 hours from the Pittsburgh area.
So there you
'Cause
go.
it takes us 3 hours to get to Rockside Station in Cleveland.
Yeah. So
One
yeah.
thing I was
Also
gonna
make
mention.
sure.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. Make sure you bring fans, and if you don't have a power source, get a battery you can plug fans into. That's what we do. It works great.
Do you guys have a like a jackery, or what I have is a little thing that one of my Ryobi batteries plugs into,
Yeah.
and that way I can charge my phone if I need to. Um, Actually, for no longer than our market is about 3.5 hours. We get there way early and we set up, and that way we have time to. My wife finesses our table 2 or 3 times, and then I look at it. We use the philosophy that says pilot high and watch it fly, like market gardeners. If you ever watch Curtis Stone on YouTube, he's a
Hmm.
great market gardener, and he can set that stuff up, and it looks inviting, like you're doing harm to yourself if you don't leave with something.
Right.
And like Paula's really good at that. I am not good at it. Like there's a fine art thing to making things look good like that. It's like I make this stuff. Don't ask me to display it. But she's really good at it. But like your power, like you were saying, uh, they would they would run us a cord if we needed it. Not all markets are like that.
Right.
Um, and
Because like
you
my main one I do is out on a farm, and we have no access to power, so I have to bring a battery unit that has
Yeah.
both AC and DC output on it.
We have solar lights that we even bring. I was going to mention that if you can find them on Amazon, and they're those solar um, phone charger banks that you
yes,
can buy. They're cheap. To get the cheap ones, I've had both. They all work the same because you're going to need it. You're going to need it. Your phone's going to run out. I mean, I have a fairly new phone, and I was at 60% right now. And just a little bit we've been on. I'm at 30. You're going to run into that out at the shows.
Especially if
And
you're using it as one of your POSs.
yeah, yeah. But the only thing that you didn't mention, Zach, that we're all, I mean, a lot of us are woodworkers on here, and we all have some type of pack out Ryobi roll around carts.
Hmm.
I emptied mine of all my tools, and I put all the stuff that we need for the shows, and they came in handy. They saved our hindsight so many times during these shows. I put a brad nailer in there because you never know when something's going to come loose from being uh, transported from your house to the shows. Um, the and the other thing, you hinted on it, Zach, but with our shows, staging your products, like if you're selling a cocoa caddy or something during the Christmas, put cocoa in it, put some mugs in it, and
Yep.
stage them because it. I think Zach, you said you have people there that have laser products at your shows, but when they found out that you hand burned your items were hand burned with your pyrography kit and they sold, it's the same way out at the shows with your different products.
Hmm.
Stage them, have three different levels, have three different heights, and just do anything you can. Like if you can put stuff in there to make them look pretty, make them look pretty because they'll sell.
Yep. Right. And
something.
that's what we were about to get to is actual, market day, what to do, how to stage, and all that stuff. And
Sorry.
no, you're good. No, you're Dave. You're 100% right. Um, now what were you going to say, Jim?
I was just again piggybacking off what he said about staging things at different levels. Uh, you know, me in my regular job, I'm a substitute teacher. I sell a lot of stuff in to people who don't make a lot of money. So
Yeah.
have things at different levels, so that if
Yep.
somebody needs a gift for somebody but they only have $10,
Yep.
have something they can pick up for $10.
Yep.
And then, so that's a forever pin in my case. If
Yep.
Yep.
they need a nicer gift, well, I have nicer pens, and they're $25.
Yep.
Um, and you have a small cutting board for $35, because not everybody's going to spend $80 on a big cutting board. Mm, certainly, nobody in our market is going to come by and drop $250 on a butcher's block.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. See,
I
I have $4, $5 items. I have a table with the lower end items. I have the table with the high end items like my boxes
mhm,
and mallets and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Then I have a table just dedicated to my plaques. And so, yeah, having a good diverse amount of items to sell at different prices, because you want to target as many different markets as you
yes,
can. Don't
Yeah.
just go after the deep pockets. Go for the
no,
small too, because it adds up.
that's right.
You may get
You
an
like
order
you
from somebody though. Sorry,
That's
Jim.
No, you're right. Like you can sell one big ticket item, or you
Hmm.
can sell 25 medium ticket items. And like the small ticket stuff, that stuff adds up. That's why our day was
Yeah.
so great, because I had customers that come in for one thing and they picked up a second thing for my
Yeah.
daughter, my aunt, my cousin in Massachusetts. Uh, and I talk to people when they come to my booth. If you can't talk to people,
Absolutely.
working markets is going to be really hard for you.
If you don't work your booth, nobody's going to work it for you. That's for
Nope.
sure. And the guy that I keep referring to as my mentor said, "You walk away from your booth and you'll regret it." And we made sure that me or my wife was there at all times, and I was like a yard barker out of the front of my booth, going, just saying hi to everybody and just trying to get them into your booth. And I tell you
Mhm.
what, it was the best advice that he ever gave me was work your booth and just be nice to people. Don't be pushy. If you can get them in the booth to look and they turn around and walk out and say, "Hey, if you see something in a different, may not have seen something different color, I may have it at home." You just on a set on that's on day multi-day there for 8 hours. You may not be able to do that, but uh,
In our
that was
in
the
our
only
little
other
corner,
thing that I was gonna say.
in our little corner of the market, on the very end is a meat vendor. They're a little farm, and he processes meat on the premises, and uh, their ribeyes are outstanding.
Uh,
But they sometimes have a line, and it's a particularly sunny spot. And the thing that has gotten more people in my booth on those hot days is, come on in, the shade is free.
yeah,
And while you got them there, hey, how are you? How's your day? Are you enjoying the market? Oh, I see you have your grandkids there. Um, in my case, I usually recognize a grandkid because I've had them in class because I sub all over our county. And so you chit chat with them. People love to talk about themselves. Let them. Uh,
yeah,
find out what they need, because sales is all about fixing a need.
Yep.
yeah.
And you're not only
The
selling
other
a
thing
product,
too. Oh,
you're
go ahead,
selling
Jim.
yourself. You're selling your
Yeah,
expertise, your uh, you know, your your knowledge, everything that you're doing. I'd say 50% of sales is selling the product. The other 50% is selling yourself, because you can have two different people selling the exact same product. The person that they like the
yep,
most, that's the one who they're going to buy from.
That's right.
yep. That's true.
So
The other thing I was gonna tell you is if you're working a show and the people that come to your show, especially the ones with kids, keep a small little thing of like peppermints or
Mhm.
something, and you ask the parents first, hey, can they have this, and then you give it to them and let them pick something out of a candy jar that keeps their attention so their parents can keep looking in looking in your booth. And you wouldn't believe how far that went for us.
Yeah.
But we if you are going to do a Christmas show, you may think about putting a letters to Santa box on your in your booth,
Mhm.
and have a little forms to fill out. If the parents put their email address or their Instagram, well, whatever form of contact information that they want to share with you, let the kids fill out the letter to Santa, let them drop it in the box. You wouldn't believe how far little stuff like that will go, and it cost you Santa box. But I even came up with one that I'm going to try this year for the
I have
kids.
an old mailbox.
Yeah, that's a you can repurpose it. Yeah,
Mhm.
but for the one of the things I was going to do this year at the fall and Christmas shows was I'm going to hang a sign. Tell me your favorite Bible verse for a free piece of candy or for a free gift. And if they come tell me that, and have another gimmick, and it's another avenue for you to use your booth for other things.
See, what I do to get engaged with the ones
From the
that have
message
kids
passes. Yep.
um, is my wife does crochet and she makes those little crocheted stuffed animals. So I stage her
Oh
booth,
yeah.
her little table at the very middle, at the very back of the booth, because the kids are going to want to go in. So they're bringing their parents with them. Well, while they're engaged with the little stuffed animals and stuff, they're surrounded by all of my product, and then they can look at the shop. So we draw them in. So that's why I don't put, I don't let Amanda put her stuff way out front. I let you maybe put a couple on the rack or something like that to where they can see as they're walking by, but they can see them. Those kids can spot that stuff. They're
Yeah.
good, and it's not hard to see them walk by and point right at you, and you know what they're pointing at. So if you have stuff for little kids, it's kind of like how they put like last minute or end cap items on aisles and
Mhm.
stores. It's to get your attention. And
Yeah.
on
Hey,
market
hold
day,
on a minute, Zach.
all right,
Rob, for he came to seek and save the lost, Luke 19:10. I'll send you my address and I'll be expecting candy.
You got it, Jim. Whatever you want. What's your favorite?
I love Reese's cups. I'm not supposed to eat them, but I love them.
Well, I'll need to get permission then.
Oh,
well, the boss is
Uh,
sitting there with him, so
oh no, she's napping.
oh,
okay. Well,
Market
then
day takes it out of us. We're old, and like
that's
our thing is we come in from the market, we eat lunch, and we turn on YouTube to sleep to.
there you go.
yeah. You have that market glow going today, Jim. It looks like y'all were out.
Oh, I don't burn, but she does. But yeah, I got that little blustery.
So I'm going to go through market day. We've already covered some of these, but I'm just going to blow through them real quick. First, you want to arrive as early as possible for setup. Make sure, especially for your first go around, until you set kind of a set in grain, set in stone method for unloading, setting up, and all that stuff. It'll take a few tries to get used to it, to figure out what's a good flow and what's a good method to use. Um, Introduce yourself to all the other vendors that you can. Be outgoing, talk to them, ask them about the market, about their stuff. Even if you have to fake it, you know, put out some interest towards what they've got, what they're making. But the thing is, you don't really have to try that hard because there's a lot of really good creators out there. So make friends with all these other vendors. Um, Engage with every potential customer, but be polite. Engage with everybody that walks by your booth, that comes in your booth. If somebody walks in and you're sitting down, stand up, greet them, ask them how their day's going, ask them, uh, if there's anything specific they're looking for, you know, but don't push too hard because that's one thing that will, if you're too, they can tell you're too eager to sell, you're going to scare them off.
Right.
Um, Display an ample amount of your product, but don't crowd your tables and overwhelm the customer. So if you have your table just chock full, overflowing, stuff
Mhm.
falling over, stuff like kind of lean or kind of straddling over the edge, stuff on top of each other. Nobody's going to want to dig through it. They're going to be scared to
If it
touch
looks
it.
like a shelf at Goodwill, you're wrong.
Exactly. Have your stuff spaced out, spread out, looking nice. Like Rob said earlier, do different levels of a shelf and have things kind of elevated. Um, but make it look nice. A lot of people have differing ideas of how much or how many different products to put out. It's really up to you. I put out 5 or 6 different types of products, but I never put two of one exact same thing out unless it makes sense. So
Yeah.
I'll have 3 or 4 of one plaque that says, the verse from Joshua, um, you know, uh, for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Well, I have like
Yeah.
4 or 5 of those, but I'm only going to put one out. And if that one sells, I'll bring another one out. So don't overflow your tables and your carts and shelves with too much stuff because you're going to overwhelm your customers. They're going to go into panic mode. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like to keep like items together. My wife likes to spread stuff out just everywhere. And I've never liked doing that because then that overwhelms the customer. It makes them anxious because then they're scared they're going to miss something. So I have all my
Mhm.
plaques on one table, all my boxes on one spot of the table, all my clocks on one spot, all my, say money clips in one spot. If I'm putting stuff all over the place, they're going to miss something.
Hmm.
So keep it
Yeah.
organized.
That
Um,
is the
offer,
one thing about turning so many bowls and plates. Small items can just go in a bowl or a plate, and it looks like you intended it that way.
yes,
And you can that in that way, you can spread things around a little bit. But what I find, because we use little signs on our tables with our prices, because I hate price stickers.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, certain places you have to do stickers, like retail place you got to do stickers. But on our market table, we just have little chalkboard signs,
hmm
and it's hard if you spread everything out. Like, somebody will see a sign over here on a lap desk and then have to turn around behind them and see something on a shelf, and that's disorganized. I don't like that.
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah, keep all your keep like items together unless you're like you got a rolling. I have a couple of rolling shelves, or rolling wire racks that I can move around.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll display 1 or 2 plaques on it to just kind of showcase, and people can see it from far away, and they say, okay, well he can't see inside my booth, but he can see that sticking out. So I might put 1 or 2 items from each section on that as just a display and example of what I've got in the booth to sell. So they might see it from far away and may not have wanted to go down this aisle, but that they see and
Yeah.
they okay, well, yeah, I can see what that person's got. I might be interested in that. So, one other thing during market day, offer your business card to every single person that you come in contact with. Not just the ones that purchase a product from you. When they purchase a product, make sure to give them a business card too, but offer a business card to every single person that comes through your booth.
Yep.
Something that I have thought about instead of dropping a business card in the bag is maybe the next round of labels that I get for bags will have the business card printed on it instead of just being a Soldier Farm sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, work that QR code on there. So,
Mhm.
whatever, if they bought a rolling pin or a cutting board and they need board conditioner, then they can just like zap it and order some.
Yep. I've got QR
Linktree is
codes,
really good.
Facebook, Etsy, and YouTube on the back of my business card.
Yeah.
Uh, so they got all that stuff. I also laser engrave my logo on all my work now that I can laser engrave. And if I can't laser engrave it big enough, I'll put one of my stickers on it. But yeah, I always give my business card to every single person that comes through or even near that booth.
Right.
And you may not want it. They may end up throwing it away, whatever. Give it to them anyway. Because you just never know. Because I've
I
had people,
mentioned link.
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Zach.
You good.
I mentioned Linktree. That kind of puts all of them. If I remember right, that puts all your contacts into one QR code. I think that's the was it Linktree? I, I have to I have to ask my other half of my brain over here.
Understood.
Yeah, we use Linktree. She makes all the signs that go up in our booth and all the flyers, like you said, and um, they they get a card, but they can also, hey, if you want more information, just come scan this one QR code, and it gives them all your contact information.
It's on
Yeah.
my business card and it's on my banner on the front of my table.
Right
Yeah,
there is a sign that I've got that says basically if you can't find what you're looking for or nothing's really speaking out to you, I can create any
yeah,
custom order that you like and all that stuff, and just basically explaining if you see something that you like but you'd like it a little different or you want a custom order plaque or whatever. So I've got that. I've also got a digital picture frame right here that is cycling through a slideshow with all my different work. On that particular picture, you can see a cornhole board in that picture. So that's showcasing all the other work that I do. And you'd be surprised how many people actually come by and just look at that and will stand there and watch. So you've got basically an online digital catalog that they're looking at, cycling
yeah,
through those photos. If even if you don't have the stuff out to sell on your tables, show that work. Show
We
it all
have
you
an
can do.
old Kindle tablet I could do that with
hmm
because you could put up I could put up a slideshow on it and the battery in the Kindle lasts forever.
Hmm.
So
yeah,
I'll have to try that. But you're mentioning custom work. It has been my experience 90% of the time. If I don't get a deposit, it's a good idea to place the order. It's not a good idea to pay and pick up.
Right.
So
hmm
it doesn't matter how small. If they want it and I have to go home and make it, I need 50%
Yep. I
yeah,
because
do I do 50% deposit, non-refundable, no matter what when it's a custom
right,
job. Because if you get halfway through and they decide they don't want it or something happened and you've already wasted, I mean it's useless.
right,
It's a custom piece and it is worthless to anybody else, especially if it's got dates and names and stuff on it. I mean,
yeah,
so yeah, if you take, yeah, that's good advice. If you take any orders, like especially what I do with cornhole boards, because they're so expensive, 50% deposit, non-refundable. Sorry, that's just what it is. If you want it bad enough, you'll pay that deposit.
someone also what when you're talking about custom stuff, people are going to ask you, hey, I have this old cutting board is there any chance that you could repair this seam? Can you resurface the board? Because it was a gift from great aunt Nettie or whatever.
Mhm.
So last year, I did that cutting board repair for a gentleman, and we talked about. He was a chef. He wanted me to do some trays and like a carving board for him. And we talked about that. We bounced emails back and forth, but he would never commit. So I went and got the material knowing I could use it, but I never made that stuff because I couldn't get a deposit for it. So that's where my cutting boards came for the other half of the year. This year I have a rolling pin from 1930. It's like an old Holly Hobby rolling pin that's missing a handle. So I'm going to turn a new set of handles for it. I mean, you'll never match that paint, but you know, he said he would finish it. All I need to do is turn them, and so just for the experience of doing that, that's going to be more important to me than the money I'll make turning two little finial handles. Uh, you know, listen to people, and if you can help them out, and it's not going to suck up too much of your time versus
Yeah.
what the job is going to do that. I didn't start a furniture repair business, but I can do it.
That's a good idea.
It is a good idea.
I never thought of that.
And let people
Yeah,
talk because you learn
Yeah,
all kinds of interesting things.
yeah.
well, you say talking to people. One of the things that my my wife got mad at me at the time, but it turned out this lady came in and she uh, she makes pies, and she wasn't at the show, and she wanted this wreath that my wife had made, and it was a pretty wreath, and I don't remember how much my wife had into it. I had a general idea, and her and her husband was a woodworker that was disabled, and he was telling me all about his 20 minutes, and she left and came back, and she goes, "Do you think you'd want to trade some pies for that wreath?" And I'm like, "What kind of pies?" "Well, I'm famous for my pecan pie." And I said, "Well, maybe two pies." And so we ended up getting our Christmas pies from this lady, and she got a wreath for her door. And oh my, was the best pies we ever had. And I was like, man, that was a great trade. But
On on the
like,
subject of horse trading, today I traded three. It was intentionally a set of three poplar bowls. There's a couple that are new to the market this year, and they make soaps and cologne and all that stuff. And he came over and he had these two little um, colognes that he had made. Now, it took me 15 minutes to make each one of those bowls, and I got poplar stacked up the wall. I wasn't out anything, and I traded for those because I really liked it. It's all natural stuff, so I'm good with that. But last year, my personal best as far as horse trading, small breadboard. Um, the Bison Ranch was the meat guy at the time that was near
ooh,
our booth, and two buffalo ribeyes
all
for
day
a little
long.
breadboard. That's my personal best. I never met a pie I didn't like, but Paula doesn't let me negotiate for pastries.
Uh, uh,
Well,
well,
Amanda,
I would trade
so y'all
for
stop
bison
talking.
for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So my wife just joined the chat, so y'all stop talking about
Oh, hey
her.
Amanda.
Hi,
All right.
Amanda.
So move down to, we're at the end of the day. We've had a good day out the market. We've been talking to people, been selling stuff, selling ourselves, selling the product. So now it's time to do the feared, panicked tear down where it looks like everybody's just trying to move out before the storm hits. So
Yep.
most markets have
Sometimes
rules.
literally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. Yeah. So most markets have rules on when vendors are allowed to tear down. Always, always, always follow those rules. The
Yep.
market says it's over at 3. They usually say, please do not tear down and start tearing down until 3. Don't start packing anything away until that clock hits 3. Respect that that market coordinator, because you want them to want you there. Because it's distracting and very disconcerting to customers. You're packing up your stuff, and bye, Amanda, packing up your stuff, and they still got people walking around. You
Yeah.
know, um, pack away your items, and if you see the event organizer, make sure you stop, talk to them, thank them for having you, thank you for having your business present, and tell them you look forward to being there at the next one.
Yeah.
Um, but lastly, if you didn't do well on sales, which for woodworking, what I've found is the first half of the year sucks.
Very much.
It's the people just aren't buying woodworking stuff first half of the year. August through December is where woodworkers really make bank. I'd say they sell 80%
Yep.
of their items from August to December.
Yep.
Uh, so don't fret if you didn't do well. Don't freak out, because there's been markets where I've just made the fee back, and then broke even. I was happy. I'm good. If you make that fee and you make your money back and at least break even, you're still doing well. You got your name out there. You got some
Yep.
notoriety. You got some networking done. So you didn't
Yeah.
lose out. You didn't walk away with no profit. Um,
Exactly.
if you
Yeah.
once you make that vendor fee, there is no stress. It is easy going. You're good.
Your first few markets that you do, if you make your vendor feedback, just consider you just got paid for an education on how to better your booth next time. Every time we do a booth, every time well, if I have time, I walk around and look at other booths, and that's another thing on the last day. If you see somebody struggling, just think back to your first show, and when you may have been struggling with somebody and somebody stopped to help you. The best thing you could do is turn around and help somebody else, because the last day of the show or the last hour, if you have a couple of guys that are there helping you load out, they become your new best friends, because
Yep.
That's right.
load out load out day is horrible. I Well, for me it is. I cannot stand it. It's the worst part of doing the booths. But my biggest thing is, if you're don't be scared to do these shows. But like Zach said, if your first couple of shows, if you make your money back on your booth, consider it a lesson learned, and you'll do better next time. Because if you try to do your first booth in June, and you're like, I'm never doing this again, you're missing the boat when August through December come through, because that's where you're going to make all your money.
Yep. That's
My
when
my first
woodworking really
show was
sells.
in February, and
Yeah.
it
Oof,
was
that's awful.
um, the show was a disaster. I mean, there were a lot of things working against us. The weather turned out to be horrible. There was another event going on at the fairgrounds, the same at within the same section of the fairgrounds the same day, like a food truck event, and it was right in front of our building, and it was just not ideal conditions for our first market.
Hmm.
And we did make our feedback. We had good sales and good traffic, but it was just not. It wasn't a good event. it was like I showed up to set up, and I had paid and I had sent stuff, but I wasn't on their list, and somebody had to call somebody who had to call somebody who had to call somebody, and it was like, okay, what have we gotten into? And we just decided that we weren't going to do another 2 day weekend show, even if it was in town. So,
Right.
that's when we said, we don't want to say no, but we know we're not doing this again. So we got into the farmers market, and we like that. And
Yeah.
now it's like to be pickier about certain things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pardon me.
And the
Bless
thing
you.
is, it takes time to shop around for a market that works the best for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does. I mean, you're going to have
Sorry
some
for
trials.
those of you in the front row.
Yeah. But
Everybody has their favorite shows that they love, like you said, Zach. You learn the ones not to go back to for sure.
oh yeah, I've got a few. I'll never do it
Yeah.
again.
Yep.
And but yeah,
Uh,
like, but even with those shows were bad. I considered them bad because I mean there's a couple we didn't, but barely made back the fee. But um, even then, November and December, I mean, I still made enough to pay my house note off of just two different items, and just
Right.
because I sold a bunch of them, and but it adds up. I mean, those little shows. I mean, because the show we did it's a very small market, kind of out in the country, and it was like maybe 15 tents, and I mean, yeah, we didn't do great. It was kind of last minute, but still, it picked up, and the sales and the orders that I got online and through Facebook from it, it's still worth it because you're getting that potential business later, and you've got that opportunity cost. Well, if I don't go to this market, I'm not going to be talking to these other vendors and other customers.
mhm.
I have seen firsthand.
That's where your networking comes into play
Yes.
too. If you make if your vendor networking that you do, you may not do a show, but you know somebody that's going to go do that show,
Hmm.
and you give them a call. If you can just pick up the phone and call them, hey, how'd you do at the show? Was it worth going to?
Right.
They won't try to sell you a show that's a dog.
Nope.
They will tell you flat out, don't do that show. Don't ever think about that show. Just take that show off your list.
Yep. They sure.
Always,
Or you,
always
yeah,
remember, it doesn't cost you anything to be kind to everybody.
that's right.
Be
That's right.
polite to everybody.
That's right.
Number one, it's a good thing to do. Number two, if they don't like you, then like, hey, when you're kind to your enemy, you heap burning coals on their head. Another thing, um, as far as networking with other vendors, like if they're happy with the show, they won't have much to say. I mean, they'll say, "Oh, it was good. Oh,
Yeah.
we had a good spot." But if they have a bad experience, they will tell everybody.
Yes, they
And
will.
Yeah.
it's just like eating at a restaurant in town. Uh,
Hmm.
never trust a restaurant or a doctor's office that's constantly empty.
Yeah. The other
Yeah, and
thing too, that if they give you an opportunity, if they send you a after show form to fill out as a vendor, and definitely out because they're looking to improve next month, next week's show, whatever you're doing. And if you didn't like this, or if they would just change this one thing, the show would be awesome. They pay attention to most of them. We've had really good response to filling out the things, the after show questionnaires.
yeah,
I'm
the
a
good ones know. The good
Google
ones
local
know.
guide,
And
and I review all that stuff.
it is in your best interest. It is in their best interest to have you come back and sell there, because if you're not willing to come sell there, they're not going to have foot traffic and
Nope.
be able to offer that event because they're making good money. And
Hmm.
it is in their best interest to do anything and everything they can to have you sell all of your stuff. And
Yeah.
they're gonna work for you. The good ones will work hard for you.
No,
And
our
you're their customer.
our market coordinator is an absolute gem. She and her husband work that very, very hard.
Hmm.
And he has other things that he does aside from the market, but like it's her full-time baby. She's married to the market. And unlike things I heard about the past coordinators, like she works on you know all of her vendors and things that she has to have set up, like the entertainment. And they're talking about trying to have a different food truck every week and that kind of stuff. And that stuff requires scheduling. Like some of the food trucks around here, you got to schedule a year in advance.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, here too.
it's like, and whoever thought? I mean, my brother-in-law and my nephew do like a barbecue truck, and they could be as busy as they want to be. Is
All right. So
it's
we're gonna
amazing.
move into question and answer time. 777 asks, panel walls or no walls on your booth? Well, that depends. Panel walls are great, I think, for woodworking booths. And I've been thinking about getting a new tent with panel walls, and here's why. The way the sun comes over most times in this particular field, it will cut through and shine down right on my table with either my plaques or my boxes. And if you've got any kind of finish that's on those, whether it's shellac, lacquer, paste wax, you name it, it's going to cook. It will start looking like a pizza crust and start bubbling up. Ask me how I know. So,
Zach,
yeah, I had to refinish 4 boxes and 5 plaques because they all cooked like pizza because the sun hit it.
6 foot by 20 foot, 70% shade cloth.
Hmm.
Order it from Amazon and clip that around the sides and back of your booth, and it will cut down on that. Last year, our shade cloth for the back of our tent, where the sun is beating down and making us real live rednecks, we
Hmm.
used a second tablecloth for that, and it didn't breathe. It didn't like, it was a pain in the neck to deal with. We got a shade cloth. Air still moves through it, but it really cuts down on that beating sun.
Right.
And it would, number one, it's cheap, and I mean it's meant to be out in the elements. It would definitely take care of that
Yeah.
problem.
Even if it's just clipping to the side temporarily, I mean,
Yep,
it's
that's
yeah, that would be, yeah. I mean, a paneled booth, I've never really liked them because they're too restricting and they hide too much of your product. People can't see it except for one side. So yeah, that sheer cloth would probably be a lot better idea. But,
and
yeah, if you let that sun hit that finished product for any length of time, I'd say any more than 15, 20 minutes, it's going to start cooking it.
it's also a good idea. Just like I pack a go bag, and that has my couple little tools, my packing tape, all that kind of stuff, my extras, this, that's, and odds and ends stuff, an extra pocket knife, extra pair of reading glasses. Get some little 3-inch squeeze clamps and use
Hmm.
that for your shade cloth. Use that to hold your tablecloth in place. Make it easy on yourself. Use that to clip the bottom corners of your table banner to
Yep.
the front legs of your table so it doesn't curl up and you don't look like, some ham and egger.
Yeah. See, Conrad just mentioned here at his markets, there's packed in tent to tent, so there's little direct sunlight. So that's good. And my last market, I actually scooted my tent right up against my neighbor's tent just to prevent that sunlight issue, and it helped. But yeah, it's we're on a wide open farm, no trees, it's open
Hmm.
fields. Yeah, it sometimes the side canopies and stuff are great. Some are, sometimes it's just not needed, and it's better to have the airflow. So Rick James asks, should you limit the different choices that you offer at shows? I've heard that that is sometimes bad, or too many choices is bad. Well, yes and no. Um, I limit mine to five or six at the most, and even so, some people even say that's too many. But I think it's better to have a variation, just because you want some items at a lower dollar amount to hit that economic target
Uh-huh.
or higher dollar amount. So you want to have some variety. Just don't put too much of each variety on the table.
I am of two minds on that. Like, there are people that, like, I see them every week because they, or at least once a month, because they want a can of board conditioner. I always have to have board conditioner. I have
Hmm.
people who buy a little gift for visiting relatives. I have a certain number of people that I see every week. And when school is in, I have certain teachers that get something from me when they have a birthday or something, where they need a little gift and they want something nice, but they don't want to go crazy. I always have to have certain things. Where the wood turning is concerned, I'm so new at it that, like, I was throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks, and thus
Hmm.
far everything is stuck. But I've got a cutting board or a cookbook stand and a personal valet that I made last year because it was the thing everybody had to have, and
Hmm.
I'm still trying to get rid of them. So, you, you know, I think there's a place where you don't want to people love options, and in the day and age where everybody's face is glued to a screen and they can have anything they want whenever they want it, people want variety. But I also think that if you're going to do wide variety, you have to have things presentably organized, because
Right.
otherwise, like you were saying earlier, if it just looks like a shelf at Goodwill, then it's it's wrong.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You definitely want to avoid looking like that for sure. And every year there's always a project that hits the internet and goes viral, like the floating crosses this year. Everybody's making them, and if
Not me.
one thing I will warn you against, you got to have thick skin at these markets sometimes too, because I don't know how many times I had people turn around and walk out the booth, or my wife heard, "Oh, me and you can go make that."
Yeah.
You definitely want to have make your stuff different from others, but also have some of those uh, items
It's not gonna.
that. Oh, I thought you were trying to show me
No.
some me, but you want to avoid the, like you said, a rack at Goodwill type mentality. But with ours, because my wife does the door hangers and the wreaths, I had my woodworking stuff and I had certain items that I said, okay, in July, this is what I'm going to bring to market in December, all the way through to December. And some things I hit a home run with, some things I got out in the garage and I plan on putting out this fall. So you
There you
find
go.
out real quick. The market will tell you how much stuff you should have, and a variety of each, for sure.
something that
Yeah,
has not gone over, like I thought people would be more interested in, like the more artistic bowls that I have turned, like the semi hollow forms and some of the more artsy stuff, not so much the um just like what I think of as picnic wear. Well, I had a guy today who got my three poplar bowls. Then another fella come around and he bought all of my 9-inch platters for, like, they have an old I don't know, like Bass Pro Shop, or like, where's the place with the expensive wool socks? Uh,
or
yeah, they're in New England.
oh,
No.
oh,
Anyway, he's talking about his wife's picnic basket, and it's split woven wood, whatever. And it came with wooden plates when they got it as a wedding present, and like now they're in their 80s, and they want another set of wooden plates. And he bought all my plates. And that was exciting to me because, like, when I look at him, I see all the flaws, and everyone else is like, you know, they love that stuff.
hmm.
But then the things that I see other wood turners selling, the more artsy pieces, like mine are still sitting on the table. So whatever that is, I don't have it. But I can make you some picnic plates.
It's it's all based. I mean, some of that stuff, people really really love. They love the rustic stuff, the stuff that's not as elaborate. And like, there's one woodworker that was working across from me at my last market, and his stuff was just very rustic, very just I wouldn't say it's bad. It wasn't bad work. It was he makes a lot of like little magic wands, a lot of like con stuff, like
Yeah.
uh mallets and stuff. But like, his mallet was, one side was 10 degree and the other side was like 2 degree, and it was very rough sawn and wasn't sanded down. And he just makes very rustic, really just baseline unfinished stuff.
See
But
that
people were digging it. People were loving it.
it's really funny you mentioned cons. A lot of people don't know, because I don't talk about it much anymore. Uh, but I'm a published author, and back when I had books coming out semi regularly, I would go, like, here in town. They have a Comic Con over at the university campus, and so I would go there, or like I would host a book signing at the library, whatever. And like the author fair at the library, you had a lot of vendors doing the little, I think of as just like con memorabilia kind of stuff. Like your little superhero stuff and all this. And people would just go crazy for that stuff. It's kind of like the Christmas bazaar at an elementary school. I mean, you know, that for $1 you give a kid the most annoying toy in the world, and then they bring it to class.
Yep.
So, that's my 2 bits on that. But and probably didn't make any sense, but it sounded good over here.
I don't know why it just put my comment in there twice, but yeah, oops. So yeah, Eric asked me how my boxes do at the craft shows. Most people for the first half of the year pay with compliments, pay with words instead of with greenbacks. That's just how it is for
Mm,
woodworking for the first 6 months. People love to, and I've even heard people say this out loud at markets: is I'm here to eat and just look at stuff. They were
yeah,
there to spend money on barbecue and food and just look at what everybody else is selling and not buy anything. And I heard that
yeah,
comment at least a dozen times. And
Between
it's
9 and 10, most commonly I hear
yeah.
from a certain sector of people. Uh, I'm just looking right now. It's my first time through the market. I'm going to get
Hmm.
something to eat and I'll be back around.
Or you
Yeah.
hear, I just got here, so I'm going to look around before I make a decision. Yeah, you're not going to see them
Yeah.
again.
Right? But
Or I just saw that at Hobby Lobby. Oh, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, you are. But
Yeah, we you sometimes the last day will save your market on multiple day markets for sure.
100%. That last day is the most critical.
And another thing you might offer, I know y'all probably all do this. They don't want to.
he froze up when he was getting to the good part.
I
Uh,
know.
would
You
Are you
froze
back?
up.
I see him moving.
so
Trevor has good advice right there. Don't fill your booth with what you would buy. You're selling, not buying. Have to open mind what about what other people want.
Yep.
Also,
Let's
I'm a
see.
bad person to ask for advice.
If you made custom suggestion boxes, do you get better service at food booths? It's not a bad idea. I did pitch, and I haven't heard from them yet. I need to reach back out to them, to a local realty company that I'm really good friends with one of their realtors, about making small keepsake boxes for them to gift their new homeowners, so they can gift their clients and have their house keys in the box, and that be, their gift to them. And I offered them a discounted price and everything, and of course they'd be made out of exotic woods and all that stuff. So haven't heard back from them, but yeah, network out. And yeah,
I love that, Zach. I was approached by a realtor last year about doing laser engraving on cutting boards for clients. And at that point, I just wasn't confident enough. Uh, so I looked for that realtor, week to week at the markets and be like, hey, but I haven't seen her again. But I do know a fella here in town who's in the business, and he just recently opened his own office. So maybe I get some traffic
yeah.
that way.
And with woodworking too, a lot of vendors like to have handmade woodwork stuff to display their products. Offer to make people shelves, offer to make them collapsible crates and boxes or whatever. I've had a bunch come up and ask me. I've had some buy planter stands from me to use as display
Mhm.
pieces for their booth. And I've
Making
made,
a set of
I've,
floating frames for uh, an artist I know. She wants to frame a painting she sold. So, I mean,
like
it's
Conrad said here,
little
if
stuff.
give time and attention to other vendors, other crafts people understand handmade. They may ask for custom work like the display stands that you make. So yeah, if you make stuff for these other vendors, do take special orders from them, because you know what, you do that, they're going to refer you over or refer you to their customers that they've got. Like I sold those
Mhm.
hanging birdhouses, and my sister does her market there too. She sells like gemstone jewelry, and
Uh,
I said, jewelry boxes and keepsake boxes. So I said, well, just send them over my way. Like boxes keep it in, or a custom hanger to hang their jewelry. And she has a couple of my pieces at her
Mhm.
booth. She took my birdhouse over there, and everybody was asking her, "Where'd you get that birdhouse? Is it? Are you selling that?" She's like, "Well, no, my brother is. His tent's right there." You know, so yeah, talk to these vendors. They'll
Mhm.
hook you up. They'll help you out.
A lot of them like those cake stand, the 3-sided boxes with the a top on them, the different heights, and to put their stuff on too. uh, I've had other vendors come around either stealing my design or what my design, but my idea, or asking if I can make some for them. So
Yeah, yeah, that is good, John. My reply would be, "You are here now, and I can save you the trip to Hobby Lobby. Gas is expensive."
that is good.
Because I've had people say, "Well, I could just get this at Hobby
Oh,
Lobby." Well, then why are you here?
hmm
And that's why I don't do a whole lot of laser engraved plaques. I do the pyrography because you're not going to find hand pyrographed items at Hobby Lobby. You're just
Nope.
not.
yeah,
So that's why I don't sell the Hobby Lobby laser engraved stuff, because that stuff you can. I mean, I'm not against laser engravers at all. I think they have a great place in woodworking, but I'm not going to use that as the main focal point for some of my
Nope.
art.
yeah.
And because that's what people are going to these farmers markets to buy. They're going to look for handmade, unique items, not stuff that they can just get off of Temu, Amazon, or Hobby Lobby.
Nope.
So make your product stand out, make it different, make it something that they can't find at Hobby Lobby.
Upsell your wood that you're making stuff out of too. I found out if you tell them it's maple or walnut or whatever, they may not know how, if that's special or not, but they're going to know that it's different from what they can get, at the big box stores,
Right. Yeah. I mean,
especially
yeah,
your
talk
stuff,
about
Zach.
what the product's made out of, you
Hmm.
know, figured maple or, fiddleback walnut or something like that, talk it up. I mean, especially if it's a good looking piece.
And like you said about having
Absolutely.
three different price levels, pine is fine. You can make a lot of stuff out of pine and offer it at a cheaper price, but make the same thing out of maple or walnut, and it it'll sell your stuff for sure. They're willing to pay a little
Absolutely.
more if they think it's special.
Right. And it's like John said earlier, don't point out your flaws, because there's no such thing
Nope.
as flawless work. There's
Yep.
always going to be a flaw somewhere. Don't focus on it. Don't point it out to them. If they can find it, great. If they say something about it, great. Explain it, whatever. But yeah, don't just volunteer that information. Don't point out, because then they're going to think, well, this guy's just telling me he's not worth a crap at making what he makes.
Yeah.
No.
you know, only talk about the positive when you're selling your stuff.
Be happy that you sold that piece that had lots of character.
Yep.
Yeah. Rustic.
Rustic. Yep. And the thing is, with woodworking and rustic stuff, well, like we said before, most of your sales are going to be during, say, August to December. Well, that's the time of year people love to decorate with that rustic
Hmm.
theme, that fall theme, and woodworking always falls heavy into that genre of decoration. And I'm telling you, if you're having crappy sales and crappy markets the first half of the year, that's just because that's just the nature of the beast with woodworking. Some do really great, some kind of struggle, but that second half of the year, it's going to be better for everyone that's doing the woodworking stuff.
I almost think that it was a great benefit to us that our first show did turn out the way it did.
Hmm.
It was low traffic. It was a disaster almost in every way that it could be, because it gave us a chance to get out there and go through the motion and see what it
Hmm.
was all about.
Yep.
Whereas if it had been
My
an absolutely busy banging day, uh, like like you can that can scare you off. Um,
yeah.
you know, um, so if your day is absolute chaos, that's not a good thing. And so by the time our first farmers market rolled around, we kind of had some idea, but then it took us half of last season to really get our system down, where it just we rolled up to the site we put the stuff on the sidewalk. And by the time I got back from parking the car, then Paula had the tent out of the bag and we were ready to get it on. And we got that whole.
Yeah.
Now it probably takes us half hour to get everything set up, and then she finesses probably takes half hour and 45 minutes
Yeah.
to get it really snazzy. And then but we do it a little different every week because as product changes, I mean, if we look like Walmart, people don't. Pardon me. Oh,
Bless you.
thank you. There again. Sorry about the front row. You didn't realize you were at a Gallagher show.
You brought that post nasal drip to my show.
Hey, I'm telling you. Yeah, I mean, certain channels in a live you get flatulence. Other channels you get foul language. In my live you get post nasal drip. I get I
There
get
you go.
I get a cold in the fall when school comes in, and then my nose runs until Christmas, and then to celebrate the solstice, it just runs on into spring. I don't know where this is coming from. I didn't make any dust today, just smoke.
Well, you were outside or
I
doing that
was.
market. So, well, does anybody have any other questions for us? I mean, we covered a whole lot of ground with markets. Of course, we don't have time to cover every single thing, but if anybody's got any questions, now is the time. But Jim, Rob, man, I appreciate y'all coming, hanging out, and sharing your story, sharing your expertise, and it's a lot of good information. I really do think that it's going to help those that are kind of on the edge of making a decision of whether or not they want to get into markets. And I think it's a good time to have this discussion because the good part of market seasons is coming up for woodworkers. It'll be here
Yep.
sooner rather than later. I'm already working on Halloween and Thanksgiving themed stuff and fall themed items.
Yep.
And next month I'll be working on Christmas items and that kind of decor. And little snowmen. Like these little snowmen I made are just crosscuts of a small 2-inch tree,
Mm-hmm.
and made just a little paint, glued them together, made little snowmen deals, and I sold over 100 of them at $5 a piece. It's one of the things I hate
Wow.
the phrase "I can't keep up" or I can't make enough" and all this stuff. But honestly, truthfully, I really could not keep up. I was 2 weeks behind on doing some orders because people just went nuts over them, and I thought it might be a fluke,
Yeah.
Well,
but it
there's a
wasn't.
whole lot of difference between that clickbait catchphrase, I can't keep up,
Mhm.
and anecdotal evidence. I mean,
Yes.
you had a project that you couldn't keep up on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, that's the great thing. YouTube wants you to have a fancy thumbnail, but behind that thumbnail, sometimes you don't learn anything that can help you out. Sometimes it's not even entertaining.
So,
Whereas other
Dave,
people, you
what do
could
you
just
do
watch
when you have
their.
another vendor that might be trying to sabotage you? I've seen that happen before. Well, if they're trying to actively sabotage you and you've got evidence of that, you need to get in touch with the
Yep.
coordinator of that event, and y'all need to have a little sit down, come to Jesus meeting.
That's right.
But
Because you're not the only vendor they're doing it to, too.
get that event coordinator, property owner, whoever it is that's in charge of that event, get involved with them immediately. That's their job to keep that stuff from happening, and they can blacklist that vendor and they'll never come back.
Yeah.
Do
But make
not
sure you
put
have
up with
evidence
that.
of it.
Yeah. Don't fall for that. Don't entrap yourself into something like that. Do what Zach said.
Yep. Don't take it upon yourself. Don't do anything to get them back. Just make sure you have the evidence and go get the teacher. That's what you
That's
got to do.
right.
Yeah.
Let them handle it because that's their job. Their job is to make sure you have a comfortable selling experience. You can't do that if they've got a
Hmm.
crappy vendor that's there trying to sabotage you because they want to make the money that you might be getting. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Run
jealous.
and go tell the teacher. Go get that event coordinator and let them
Yeah.
handle it. But make sure you've got the evidence to
And
back up your claim, or they're going to start looking at you funny.
yeah. And if you've done more than one or two shows, you're going to run into that. I guarantee you, there's always one experience or one guy at a show, and if you stay around the show circuit long enough, you'll see that they don't last long.
Nope.
They'll get their own
Yep.
karma.
777 said, "Do you offer vet or first responder discounts?" That is something I have not done yet, but Amanda and I have talked about it. We will be offering a veteran or active member discount. And again, like Conrad says here, um, you know, Air Force veterans from him never have to show proof. Um, but a lot of them don't carry the proof with them, but if a lot of the old veterans, they wear the hats when they go to these
Yeah.
shows. You almost see them every single time. If I see a guy that's coming in with like a Vietnam vet hat or Gulf hat or something like that that says they're a veteran, I offer them a discount. But that is something we're going to actually post and offer like a 10% military discount or something like that.
And thank them for their service when you do see that. I do it everywhere I go, not to toot my own horn, but um, freedom's not free, like they say. But at a show, that's your in to talk to them. You don't know what kind of stories you might hear if you just tell them thank you for your service. Take it from there.
Yep.
In my case, it's usually a fist bump and welcome home, brother. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
then,
Wow.
you know, just go back to, I mean, it's simple psychology. People like to talk about themselves. Let them talk to you. Listen for, I mean, when you're in the service, you get 10 million acronyms stuck in your head. And then when you leave, you take them with you. They're your acronyms for life. And you can always tell who served, and because there's a certain way they talk, and we're not usually nice to each other. You know, everybody gets a nickname and all this. You listen to them talk, and as far as discounts are concerned, I don't do a discount for everybody, but I'll listen to somebody and it, like if I think that helps them out, then I'm all for that. But like for years, I never asked about military discounts and all that stuff. And then finally, I got to the point like, okay, why not? Why shouldn't I do that? But
Hmm.
uh, for my business, like I do a lot of discounts for a lot of different reasons, and it's usually like you know every business I've ever been in, from being a writer to everything else, it's always been built through relationships. So, I mean, that's a big deal for me. But
Norm had a good comment too that to post a sign saying you're getting given a veterans discount because a lot of people don't wear hats, and that makes that's a good statement.
Yep. And I
I
haven't
have an
posted,
egg
and we
shaped
didn't put
head, so I have to wear a hat.
mainly because I didn't think about it. But yeah, I mean, you're exactly right, Norm. That is one of the topics of discussion that Amanda and I had when we would do that. Is like we need to post it out there and not just rely on that. So yeah, that was kind of what led to that decision. Starting in August, we will be posting a discount and offering different sales. If you buy two plaques at full price, you get one for free or something like that. Or or
Yeah.
something we haven't really tried yet, or deals and sales. We also got a little wheel, like kind of like the wheel we see, we spin for prizes and stuff. Um, that I'm going to offer, if anybody that spends $50 or more gets a free spin on the wheel for a free item. And I'm going to have uh, coffee cups with my logo, different magnets and stuff, different small low dollar items, nothing
Right.
over $10, just
Yeah.
something fun. They can let their kids spin the wheel, so
Yeah.
something to entice them to. If you spend $50, you get a little, $10 free item, something like that. Make it fun. Get them engaged.
I may steal that one, Zach.
Yeah, it's. Oh, there you go. Look,
This show is not sponsored by.
Oh, no, this show is not sponsored by, but I don't know what is this thing called?
Tropical flush.
Tropical cream slush. And it's like pineapple and
Wow.
coconut and goodness. And
that is
we
a
got
great.
hooked on
Mm.
this by accident.
That is a great after show drink right there. That is like a
There you go.
It's
aftermarket
cold
drink.
and it's sweet, and I can tell myself a salad because it has coconut and pineapple. So it's technically a salad.
Fruit. Yeah.
Yeah, a fruit salad.
And yeah, Norm, I'm the same way with things like that. I don't. My uncle's the same way. He retired as a command sergeant major in the Army, and he was in the Gulf Desert Storm and Gulf War, and he did all. I don't know how many tours he did over there, but he still goes to the Navy base to shop at the Navy Exchange, and he goes on base there at the commissary, and he'll shop and stuff out there. But he doesn't, like Lowe's, I think, offers a 10% military discount and whatever. He won't take it. He won't use it.
I used to get a lot of mileage out of that at Lowe's, and then they and Home Depot both stopped discounting lumber.
Yep, they took lumber out of it.
So obviously it
Conrad,
was
you're right.
working out in their favor, so in our favor, so they stopped.
I didn't serve for acknowledgement. Yeah, exactly, 100%, Norm.
Well, I didn't either, but
You served because
here I
you
am
felt it
doing
was
it.
your duty. And people don't. That's the thing. People don't offer discounts to service members for acknowledgement. They're doing it because they want to show their gratitude.
Mhm.
And it's
Right.
not. And I know a lot of service members don't even want the acknowledgement. They don't want the gratitude because they're selfless people. And that's the reason they served in the first place, is because they're selfless people. And
Mhm.
we get that, but it's kind of, you also don't want to rob the person of the joy of thanking you for that service either.
Yeah.
So
Right?
that's why a lot of people offer that. It's not to toot horns or anything. It's to genuinely thank them for their service. And it's up to you
Yeah.
whether or not you want to take advantage of it or not. It's no harm, no foul either way. I don't use my senior citizens discount either. Well, that's kind of, I wouldn't want to use that either.
I'm not ashamed to take that one.
I'm 55. We joined the senior center because they have a heated pool. I'm yet to step my foot in that pool, but my wife insisted when I hit 55 that we go and join.
Well, I'm only 42, so I got a little while before I get there.
Well, we won't say, but she got to join before I did. And
Oh. Well, if there aren't any more questions, Jim, Rob, do y'all have any final parting words for our friends?
I love y'all.
Don't
If
be
you're
afraid
in
to
the market-
try it.
I knew y'all were going to do that.
Yeah.
All right, Rob first.
Don't be afraid to try it. I was scared to death of it, and I've been in sales my whole life. But the market scared the you know what out of me, and I'm glad that my wife talked me into it. And she's the shy one, and it scared the crap out of me. But it's been worth it. And I want to thank Zach for inviting me on. Second of all, and definitely want to uh, say hi to Van if he's watching in their family, and tell him we're praying for him, and that we wish him get well soon and love him. And that's all I've got. If you have any questions about anything, I'm sure you can leave them in Discord. I'll be glad to answer any questions you have
Yeah, hit
um,
us up on
going
Discord.
forward.
You can email me at bicefamilytree@gmail.com. If you've got my number, text me. Um, Rob, I don't know if you want to throw out your email address or just hit him up directly um, on Discord.
Yeah, I check it more than I check the other emails, so
Yeah.
Discord would be the best way for me.
All right. So yeah, hit him up on Discord. Jim, what do you got for us?
Just say I love you all. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Zach, for having me on. Of course, we're still praying for Van. Uh, Anybody has questions, comments, complaints, gripes, funny stories, my email is in my channel description. If we're on Discord together, please, by all means, either hit me up by direct message or in one of the forums. 'Cause that my success is completely accidental, and I'm happy to tell you whatever I'm doing. If it sticks for you like it has for me, I'm happy.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, I think that will do it for tonight, gentlemen and the ladies, if there's any ladies watching. I appreciate everybody coming to hang out with us, learn from us. If you have any more issues or questions or, want to share some stuff, hit me up. You've got my email. And
Absolutely.
Jim, Rob, don't leave quite yet. I'll end the stream and I'll let you know when we're all backstage. And there is Miss Amy. Of course, Amy had to pop in right when I'm leaving. I tell y'all what, that is one of the most talented people in this
Yes,
world right
she
now
is.
Amy. So
Amazing stuff.
y'all need to check up from the neck up because she is awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, Amy, we've been on here 2 hours and 17 minutes. So you can go back and watch if you want. But I want to thank y'all for hanging out with us. I want to thank our two co-hosts and also for praying for Van. And we will catch y'all on the next one, which will be the 27th. We're going to have Trevor from Trevor's Captured Memories. And who's that other guy? Oh, yeah, Waynona. So Waynona will be here. If y'all haven't seen his video about his lathe and turning outfit, y'all need to check it out. It's awesome. So I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out, and I will see y'all next time.